Lovely dot. How are we getting on? Are we good? Let me just see if this is working. Yeah, it's working. The camera's not working properly. What's going on here? Can everyone hear me okay? Yep. Sorry, I'm new to this. This is a new sort of stream that I'm doing today. Nervous, man. Yeah, I feel you, mate. I feel you. Yeah, it's going to be a big one tomorrow, hopefully. Can people in the chat just see if they can see my camera and can hear me okay? Can you just do that quickly? I'm trying this new technology thing and it's not working properly. No, all clear, perfect. And visually you can hear me, yeah? So you can see me okay. It's proper slapdash. Oh, perfect. Well, excuse the helicopter. Looks like all stops are putting out today, doesn't it? Yeah, nervous. The move of what will be a relegation decider against Spurs. It's going to be an interesting game, isn't it? I mean, I'm going tomorrow. It's going to be Sunday, 4 o'clock kickoff. I'm going in the bowling at 1 p.m. tomorrow. Go back to our roots on what is quite important. Quite an important game. But yeah, where is Hawksey? Horsey. Yeah, Horsey. He's that's what I'm meeting with tomorrow. But it's just me today. Just what I'm doing is I'm doing a stream because I'm waiting for my daughter to finish her drama class. So yeah, that's what I'll be doing. But yeah, no, I think a couple have just moved away from me. I'm obviously talking a bit too loud, but is what it is. Talk West Ham. Don't like it, and walk off. That's fine. But yeah, no, it's going to be big game, really big game, and it's the end of the season decider, isn't it? And yeah, it's going to be a tough one, mate. It's going to be a tough one. I don't know if I'm mentally prepared for it. But I'd be interested to see what your thoughts are. Are you going to the game? As I said just now, I'm going to the bowling pub before at 1 o'clock. Because I like in important games like this, you kind of have to go back to your roots, and you have to kind of not my roots, but the club's roots, and kind of see how important this club is to us. I mean, I've done exactly that before we went to before the Conference League final. I took half day off work, and I went up and spent the afternoon in Upton Park. What the hell was that? Someone's lost their dog over the forest. They're calling it. Yeah, so when it was the Conference League final, I went back to the bowling, and obviously it is a completely different area now. Even like I say, the stadium ain't there no more. It's all flats. A lot of the shops in there that we used to go into have all shut, have all died. The statue is there on its own, where the remains of the club are, and it is heartbreaking to see Upton Park and the bowling the way that it is. Yeah, like I say, the soul was definitely stripped out of this club, 100%. But I'll be going back there tomorrow. Tomorrow, and reconnecting with people, and yeah, I think it's going to be a good day regardless. I mean, it's going to be a nervous game, very, very nervous game. But what is the reassuring factor is that Leeds have got quite a few players out injured. So I think in terms of our game, I think all we have to do is we've just got to concentrate on our game. We've just got to concentrate on us. We've got to get the win, and we've got to really, really go for it because a win is the only outcome for us to have any hope of staying up. But yeah, and then whatever Spurs do. Their destiny's in there. It's in their hands, really. They're the ones that if they want to drop the ball with it or not. It's completely up to them. But we've just got to win our game tomorrow, and I think us fans deserve to see a win at the London Stadium tomorrow, regardless of the outcome. So Josiah, so obviously Nuno had his press conference yesterday, and I have to say, it as much as the game is important for us, he does not reassure the fan base. I don't think he ever has, and I think his press conferences always come back a bit negative. And for me, I just don't think it's acceptable. I really don't. He was questioned on his future yesterday about, you know, what his future lies after this season and stuff, and he basically shied away from it. He was saying, like, we have to focus on Sunday and then we can figure it out then. Well, I'm sorry, you signed a 3.5-year deal. Are you staying or are you going? Are you jumping ship? Like, and I can't. And I think the lack of commitment. Like, if he was committed to the job, he would have said, I know I've got a 3.5-year contract. I know I've got a release clause in my contract, but I want to stay and get this club back up where it belongs. That's what he should have been saying, and he didn't. And I think that is probably the most frustrating and annoying thing I could get from a fan, is that if we go down, he's leaving like the rest of them. He's leaving like the rest of them, and that to me just indicates that the lack of commitment, the lack of foresight, and he just proved that he took the job in the wrong way. But obviously, there's a lot of rumours there about managers and that taking over, but there's one here. I would take Southampton manager Tonka. No, for me. Personally, I'll tell you why. Because I think Will still got hung out to dry at that job, 100%. I like Will still. I think he's one of the most up-and-coming young managers in the game. He's 33 years of age, 34 soon. And people writing him off already. People are still playing football at 33, 34, and then going into management. This guy's had 7 years full-on experience working at big clubs in Belgium, big clubs in France. He's managed Southampton, who are pretty much a basket case of a club at the moment. They've gone to relegation, and what they've done was, because Will still told them some own truths, basically saying you ain't got good enough players, you haven't got the structure, you haven't got this. It's going to take a longer plan to get this club into a sustainable position. The ownership didn't really like that, but they stuck with it. But the fans hated it even more. And I think the fans have been a bit unfair to Will still. Some fans I know of Southampton were actually quite gutted to see Will still leave. And they wanted the project. They wanted the long-term goal. Because they don't want to be a yo-yo club. I think Southampton are a big enough club to not be that. And basically pressure got to them. They got rid of him, and they hired within. They got Tonka in, so they promoted him. Now, it's not a coincidence that a club that has been struggling after really bad form and asset stripping in the summer were lambasting at the bottom half of the table. When Tonka comes in, they finish the season in the playoffs. Now, with what's been going on, you could say, yeah, he's done a really good job. 16 games unbeaten, done a really good job on the pitch. Fine, but why did they get in that position? And it's been found out that they've been spying on the other teams. They got caught against Middlesbrough in probably the most important week that they could ever have in terms of getting back in the Premier League, and they got caught. They got caught spying on the other team, which is against the rules, it's against the morals of it. I mean, back in Germany and Argentina and stuff like that, I mean, it's all part of the game. It's fair game. They love a bit of espionage, don't they? And but because that's where his education has come from, he hasn't adapted to the English way. And the English way is, don't spy on the other teams. There was a precedent there with Leeds, wasn't it? Leeds and Derby. Years ago, and there was always that conflict between Lampard and Bielsa. But Lampard come out on trumps on that, didn't he? Because they got through, but they didn't win the playoff final. But they won the semi-final where they were being spied on. But no, not for me. Tonka, no, absolutely not. I think the only reason he's got into that position and had that run of form is because he's engineered cheating to help assist that. So no, and also he's going to be banned for 12 months, isn't he? Because he's broken the rules. So. For me, no. Morally, no. I think if you're going for a younger manager, I'd rather go with Will still. Happy Amaret, thank you for joining. I feel absolutely fine about the game. It's a risky, but I feel that a win is a win-win for us. We lose, we get to reset. I feel we really need to clear out of the manager and the players. Lose, and Spuds get relegated. Yeah, I think we're all backing for a Spurs loss, aren't we? A reset does appeal to me. Really does appeal to me. There's fantastic crop of players in the Championship that we could really build off. We've done it before. For me, when West Ham got relegated the first time to the Championship, which is the Joe Cole, Di Canio, Canute thing, and then we rebuilt those 2 seasons under Pardew. For me, that is my West Ham team. Like, that is the team that I can connect with the most because of just because I had a season ticket with my granddad. Used to go over there every week, and I used to watch some really good football, and a lot of good youth players like Marlon Harewood came in, Joby McAnuff came in, Adam Nowland, you had Nigel Rio-Coker, you had Chris Cohen that was being promoted, you had there's loads there. Matty Everton came in, then you had Zamora coming at a later date. Christian Daly, who basically captain of the team and led us to promotion. There's a lot of players there that are really connected. But Thomas Repka stayed. Thomas Repka got relegated, and then he stayed with us for 2 years in the Championship because he felt obligated that he had to get the club back up. In fairness to him, he got us back up. We gave him that half season, and he went back to Sparta, went back to Prague, didn't he? I think people like Thomas Repka. I mean, people. He's a legend I say a legend. He's a cult player for us because he could have left. He could have went back to Italy, played for Fiorentina. He could have went back to Europe and stuff, but he didn't. He stayed with us and he got us back up. And that's what I expect from the players that we've got at the moment. Like your Bowen. I think Jared Bowen, he could get in, other than the top 6 sides, he could get into a club that's in the top 4, the other 14, 100%. Right? If Frank Lampard came in for him, I think he could go to Coventry and lead them. But we're in the same position that he was this season because they will be fighting relegation. For me, with Bowen, he should stay. He should be getting this club back up. He should be leading. He should be enjoying his football again because the past 4 months he hasn't been. That's quite clear. I don't know why. I don't know what the reasons are behind it, but things just don't work it out for him. But I think Bowen has to stay of all of them. And I'd like to think that Kilman will stay. I'd like to think that Souček will stay for 1 more season, and then maybe, or if he goes, I'd like to see him go to like Hoffenheim and pair up with Sufal again in the Bundesliga. I could see that probably happening. Rather than him going to another Premier League side because, I love Souček. Souček, for me, him and Bowen are like the top 2 West Ham players that are pretty much legend status for me. Modern day legends, I'd say. But yeah, I think the reset does suit this in opinion. But the bit that gets me is that how comes teams like Aston Villa, teams like Everton, can stay up by the skin of their teeth, points deductions and all, and reset that way? How comes them teams can get away with it, but then we can't? Why can't we get given that opportunity? Because who's to say, if we do stay up, who's to say someone else comes in and takes over the club? Who's to say we get injected a lot of cash, a lot of it, to rebuild? And the new squad cost ratio, I mean, we'll be in a very, very good position because we'll be relying on our commercial revenue. And it is better than most clubs. It's not as good as Spurs, probably half of what Spurs have generated. And even if Spurs went down, they'd still have a commercial net worth which is more than Newcastle United. So I think if Spurs go down, they'll be fine. They'll come straight back up, not a problem. But for West Ham, it's going to be catastrophic. We really need to stay up. We really do need to stay up, regardless of what it is, because financially we're a mess. But yeah, that's it. I'd like to reset at the very top if possible, but if we have to go down to do that, then fair enough. I visited the bowling for the first time again last year with Budgie and the others. I found it quite upsetting, to be honest. I get the sentiment for tomorrow though. Yeah, no, it's absolutely. I mean, it's heartbreaking because that's our origins, that's our home. I mean, you go down to the wine bar around the corner, and in the first floor, that's where West Ham United were. The forms were signed for this club to be West Ham United, for, transitioning from Thames Ironworks, and yeah, it's a real shame to see what our area has become to, and obviously that's just part of modern day football. You look at Stratford now, and Stratford has changed massively since they got given the Olympics. Obviously, it was a working class area, um, lots of industrial sites, lots of businesses that had to relocate, and we've had and obviously the whole area has benefited from the infrastructure that's been put in, better train networks, Westfields, more shops, more restaurants, casinos, sports facilities, Olympic parks. I think that the area has got, got a lot going for it in terms of building new communities. And sadly, like when you're trying to build a new community, you should really be having a nod to the community that you've just deserted. And that's the bit that really gets me with West Ham and the borough of Newham, because they've killed an area of Newham to benefit in another part of it. So yeah, the bowling, I think there will always be our heartbeat. But then what happened? We have to try and make Stratford our new one. Only a few miles up the road. Origin wise, the River Lee runs through the Olympic Park, so that River Lee is where the Thames Ironworks first originated, first built their warships, and so we do have that sort of connection, and maybe something just needs to be done. For me, I think the area needs more fan zone areas. Like there's a lot of places in Hackney Wick which are literally crying out for renovation. Along the moors, and I think there's a lot there that could be had. But West Ham really need to start capitalising on this and buying these sort of warehouses and converting them into fan zone areas, like Box Park, like a West Ham Box Park sort of thing. I think that's what we're lacking in the area. And also that local shops, bring back Nathan's Pie and Mash, bring back the cafes, and bring back all that around so that West Ham fans can engage with that. I think the Westfield side to it is something that we should be protesting and not using. I think that is not catered for West Ham fans whatsoever. I think the only pub really that's worth its weight in that Westfield is the Cow Pub. Other than that, I can't really say I'll go to Westfield on a match day, because I just don't think it's worth the time and effort. Like local pubs, I think the Carpenter's Arms. Massive shout out to Carpenter's Arms. I think they're the ones that rock it every week. And then you've got the fan zone area where the Orbit is, but again, I think that fan zone area is not really the sort of it's not our ownership. Like it's good now because it's better than nothing sort of thing, but it's not what we need as a fan base. But yeah, Frog, how we doing, mate? I hope you're well. Ameroids, bloody hell, we'll have Ameroids tomorrow, I tell you. What a season, eh? Yeah, definitely a Goliath season for us, an era-defining season, I would say. It's been a whirlwind season, that's for sure. Will Still with Sullivan. Well, interestingly, Will Still is an agent of Mr. Salthouse. So if you're going to get a manager in that's on a free, and you want to keep your mate sweet for agents, there you go. Will Still. Mavs Hammer of the Year. Oh, is he really? Has that been announced? Oh, well, you know what? Fair enough. I mean, as much as everyone's been voting for Fernandes, I think we all know that if we made him Hammer of the Year, then it's like, oh, he's come in, he's won Hammer of the Year, and he's going to be going for 60, 70 million quid to another club. So I think probably the transfer politics behind that is probably why he hasn't won it. But Mavropanos, I mean, I've got a lot of time for Mavropanos. I think he's a good player. I think he's got the right attitude. I just don't think he's had the right partnership, defensive partnership for him to help him. Mavropanos, I think, for me, I think if he stays, if Bowen goes and he stays, I wouldn't mind that. I think he could actually be club captain And if he signs a new deal, Bowen goes. Mavropanos a captain for me next season, 100%. What's this? Sorry. Good lad. After his form last season, I wonder if Kilman will be here next year. I think Kilman will be. I've got a thing about Kilman. I think mentally he's not right. I think he needs a lot more of a confidence boost. He needs a manager that's going to really, really. You know what Kilman needs? He needs Harry Redknapp around him. He needs an arm around the shoulder. Listen to him, understand him, and try and get the best out of him. Because Kilman ain't a bad player. He ain't a bad player at all. Like it's just a confidence thing. He's panicking. He's under pressure, and when you take that pressure off someone, you watch him fight. Look at Mavropanos. The pressure got lifted from him, and now he's having a year. I think Kilman is very unlucky. I think he's a good ball player. I think he's a good dribbler. I just think he gets caught out deep. And again, that's just down to the lack of defensive support that he's had behind him, and also the goalkeeper. I think the goalkeeper plays a big part in that. You need a solid goalkeeper behind you to orchestrate the defence. And unfortunately, I don't think West Ham in either. I know Hermansen's the better of the two, in my opinion, but vocally, I think they're weak. You need someone that's going to lead from the back of the back. Let's hope we don't have the chance to nominate him. Yeah, the Canio in the dressing room with some capacity would get results. Yeah, I think. I do love the Canio. I can't knock his passion whatsoever. Managerial wise, would you hire him for someone that's managed Swindon, managed Sunderland, and caused a rift? But then would he want to risk his relationship with the fans because he can't get results round? I mean, you look at Slaven Bilic. Slaven Bilic done the same thing, and obviously he's, relationship with the fans has kind of dwindled now. I think the other exception is probably Trevor Booking. Trevor Booking, he done well. And although we got relegated, I think because he does so much on the pitch, you can kind of deny what he could do off it. So, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Modernisation finished off with what the German did in the war community. Well, I don't know about that. Obviously, but yeah, I don't want to talk about it. Stratford is too snobby for pie and mash or a calf. Well, the thing is that they're taking working class foods and using them as hipster joints, like chicken shops and stuff like that. Like I do like a bit of roadman chicken and chips, or hot wings and chips. I lived off that when I was schooled in Dagenham. But like Dixie chicken and a favourite chicken. But pie and mash, since when did it become a £18 meal? Never really used to be, and I think that is probably just down to the demand of it in certain areas, especially in Essex, like Robin's Pie and Mash, Menzies in Braintree. Then you got I think it's Tony's now. I think Tony's is over at London Stadium now, and I got when I went to a Newcastle game, I got 2 pie, 2 mash, and a pint of brewdog beer, and it cost me £28. That's not working class prices for working class food, if I'm completely honest with you. Up the Hammers, can't have that lot stand in the league over you. Yeah, I agree. Carpenter's Arms is the place to be pre-match, 100%. Closest I've found to the bowling since. Yeah. Morning, Grandad's our job. Morning, Jules. Suchek captain. Again, I think he was the natural successor to Rice for me, but I think there must have been something in Bowen's contracts to be captain, otherwise he would have been stripped of it by now. Kilman hasn't got the minerals, in my opinion. One mistake every game. Yeah, again, as I said, it is a confidence thing for me. Full Crook will go down the treat in the championship. We go down. Yeah, but I don't think he's going to drop down and want to go to Lincoln away. Personally, yeah, I think he's. Again, I think maybe that's just down to agency. If I had to pick somewhere that he's going to go in the summer, I think he'll go cheap to somewhere like Cologne, because that's where Tim Stuyden is. That's my opinion. But I'll tell you what we'll do. Like, seeing as though Mavropanos has won the Hammer of the Year, who do you think deserves the West Ham medals this year? Who should get a medal? Not necessarily the players, but let's say someone that's been backing the club off the scenes, or someone in the media that's been, backing us. Like, who should get a medal? You tell me, who should get a medal at West Ham this season? I'm taking this inspiration because of boring AFC TV. Rob, former Dad's Ad Job original, he done a thing saying about who West Ham, who should get a medal for Arsenal. Like Jamie Carragher, he gets a medal. Like dishing out medals, but who do you think West Ham should give a medal to this year in terms of their support this season? Gary in the tunnel. I'll tell you who gets a medal. Gary Kinnerton. Gary Kinnerton gets a medal. Gary Kinnerton gets a medal. I'll tell you why, because he's one of a few Hammer fans that got banned over there for voicing their opinion on the ownership, and he got banned on a technicality. So Gary Kinnerton, you get a medal. Nick Kinnerton, you get a medal for the BS Out campaign this season, like getting the petition up to almost 20,000 signatures. Gary and Nick Kinnerton, the Kinnerton brothers, get medals for me. Who else gets a medal? Who else gets a medal this year? Paul Colborne gets a medal. Hammers United gets a medal. Andy Payne gets a medal. Bill Gardner gets a medal. He gets a Lifetime Achievement Award, Bill Gardner. I thought he gets a medal this time. Who else gets a medal? Come on, you tell me in the chat. Tea Lady. Big up the Tea Ladies. Tea Ladies get a medal. Tea Ladies get a medal. And Nick, I said Nick. He's ambitious. His passion there goes miles. Canning Len gets a medal. Canning Len gets a medal for doing the fantastic artwork in what has been a derisory season this year. Canning Len gets a medal, especially that last game at Bowling painting, which is absolutely stunning. If you can get your hands on that, that is going to be that's fantastic. That, and I think the latest one is painted on a black canvas, so the colours come out more. So, Russie B, the DJ, the monkey, was it the monkey button pusher, as Sean Whetstone calls him? Russ Budden gets a medal. Russ Budden gets a medal for his work throughout the season at the club. I'll give Sullivan a 1-ton medal and let him go for a swim. David Sullivan gets the heaviest medal of all and thrown in the river. Bit like what he's done with our club, right? Budgie and Kieran, old school Hammers, they get medals. Nigel Khan, 100% gets a medal. He gets a medal. Who else gets a medal? Come on, tell me. Nigel Khan definitely gets a medal. I think I think people underestimate Nigel's knowledge in terms of the club, and there's a few times where I've posted stuff on X and he's actually messaged me on WhatsApp going, that's not actually correct. Is this update? I was like, all right, yeah, fair enough, mate. So Nigel Khan gets a medal. Sean Whetstone, I'm saying no. Sean don't get a medal. He's a stooge. I'm only joking. Sean can have like a certificate. He can have a little paper certificate, a participation certificate. Dodsey gets a medal. Dod's Ad Job gets a medal. Yes, 100%. Who else gets a medal? Come on. Who else gets a medal? Not Sean Whetstone. There you go. Sean Whetstone don't get a medal. He gets a certificate. Us fans putting up with well, that's our choice, Dad. So we shouldn't get medals for doing something that we choose to do, right? I think it's I get your point, but no, I don't think so. Who else gets a medal? Definitely Dodsey. Definitely Dodsey gets a medal, especially for the work he's put in for this podcast. There's a lot of stuff he's done on this podcast, which doesn't come under a lot of credit. Who else gets a medal? Amish Chat, yeah. Amish Chat gets a medal. Shout out to Gonzo and Gio for their continued contribution this year online. They get medals, and an extra medal for Gonzo for opening up about his ADHD battle. So big shout out to Gonzo on that one. He gets 2 medals on that. So it takes a lot of courage to open up about your mental health, and yeah, I think people should talk more. It's a great suggestion. James E20, yes, E20. Know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? James, you get a medal. James, you get a medal. West Ham Fan TV. West Ham Fan TV. Dan Lawless gets a medal. Nicky Hawkins gets a medal. The rest of the boys, Ryan and Scott, they both get medals. West Ham Fan TV 100% get medals. And also, go onto their channel, and if you want cheap football jerseys, they've got a link there for okjerseys.co.uk. So go on there, 15 quid a shirt. Can't knock it. Can't knock it at all. Who else gets a medal? Just before I sign off, I've got 10 more minutes here, and then or 5 minutes even, and then I'm gonna log off and start preparing myself for tomorrow. So give us your predictions in the chat. What you think tomorrow's result's going to be for West Ham United, and who you think is going to be an unlikely goal scorer that could save us from relegation. So yeah, that'll be worth. But I'm trying to think of who else gets a medal. West Ham Central. Nah, he don't get a medal. He don't get a medal. West Ham Rambles. Yeah, he could get a medal. West Ham Images. West Ham Images get a medal. 100% get a medal. Who else get a medal? Ex-West Ham employee, the West Ham Way, Dave Walker, Mark Carlaw. They all get medals. They all get medals, especially for their match day pre-game events, like getting ex-players in. Martin Allen, Mad Dog, gets a medal. Massive medal. Huge medal. Keith Hackett gets a medal. From me, he does. Not from anyone else, but he gets a medal from me. Stell, yes, Stell and Tony. Stell, West Ham Boys, he gets a medal. Tony, Hammers Fan TV, he gets a medal. Me, no, I can't dish out my own medals. I need someone else to do that for me. 2-1. 2-1 to the Hammers. Who's scoring, Kerry? Please tell me who your goal scorers are. Not Central. No, not Central. To be fair, though, he's put out probably one of the most liked tweets of Declan Rice holding the Conference League and basically saying that's the last trophy he's ever going to get. It got over 100 million views, 300,000 likes, and he's got a couple of grand out of it. So well done to him, but he don't get a medal. 3-1, Aaron Wan-Bissaka last goal. Yeah, that is our family bet, isn't it? It's always been 3-1. It's always been 3-1 and bet on the last goal scorer. I remember when the first year we got up under Alan Pardew, and it was always 3-1, Benayoun last goal scorer. And I think we had Benayoun 3-1 quite a few times, but then I think we played Blackburn and he scored the fourth goal. So it was like, oh, yeah, almost. But 3-1. 3-1 is our thing. Souček and Wilson. Oh, Souček and Wilson for the 2-1. Okay. Yeah, I can see that. I'm gonna go 3-1. I'm going to say Pablo's going to come out and score. Yes, if there's a game that Pablo is going to come out and score, why not be the last one at home and the goal to keep us up in the Premier League? How about that? Pablo own goal. Own goal? No, I've said that now. Pablo's going to score 2 goals. Right, Pablo's going to score an own goal, and then he's going to score 2 to make up for it. There you go, in a 3-1 win. All of us creators. Oh, to be fair, Frog, I'm not a creator really. I'm just coming on here to have a bit of fun and yeah, like trying to do the Trevor Brooklyn challenge, Dod's ad job, what's happened next, play a few quizzes and stuff. I wouldn't say I was a creator. I mean, it's not my job. That is definitely not my job. I'm just doing this for fun. But big shout out to those that have the thousands of followers there. My pops used to bet 3-1 and 3-2 every match. You didn't end up rich. Well, yeah, that's the thing. LOL Pablo. Yeah, he's going to come good. Just hopefully for us one day. I was going to say Pablo scores the winner. Yeah. Here you go. Here's another prediction. 3-1 West Ham. Come on, you Irons. Tottenham 2. West Ham. Everton 2. And Tottenham get relegated. Yeah, that's terrible. Yeah, okay, well, I've got to wrap this up in the next minute, but thank you for all to joining. We'll be back on Tuesday to do a season review, whether we're crying or whether we're smiling. But I'll tell you one thing, is one thing that's worth looking at. I mean, bear in mind Tottenham Hotspur have got the pressure on already. Their PR isn't great, is it? I mean, they've already leaked images of their away kit, purple away kit, with a Premier League badge on the shoulder. Poro doing that. Gallagher doing that. Bergvall doing that. I'm sorry, that is far too early for me. If I was a PR guy, I would have waited until at least Monday or even Sunday evening to be releasing those photos. Because now they've set themselves up for failure, and I hope it works. I hope they do lose tomorrow. I really do, just on that basis of the cockiness of it. But also, if anyone fancies a catering supervisor's job at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium the day before they play their biggest game, go onto Glassdoor and you'll find an advert for Tottenham Hotspur hiring under Baker Story to get a catering supervisor in. Can we get a Lasagna Gate 2 sequel? Can we get it? Let's hope so, eh? Anyway, I'm just going to finish up on the chat and then we'll sign off, and that's it. 2-1 to our smells of another twist of this movie. Up or down, win or lose on the booze. Yeah, I definitely will be doing that. Cheers for that. Have a good weekend, everyone. Come on, you fucking irons. I'm great at making a lasagna. Well, don't make promises, Kerry. Don't make promises. Anyway, thank you, everyone. Hope, pray. One more game to go. One more game. And let's hope Tottenham fall flat on their backside. Thanks again. See you Tuesday. Come on, you irons.
This week's show is in association with the Ribman. If you haven't tried the Ribman yet, what are you doing? Every Sunday, you can find the Ribman down Brick Lane serving up the best ribs in London. Smoky, sticky, messy perfection. Exactly how ribs should be. And if you can't make it down, no stress. Head over to theribman.co.uk where you can grab its legendary hot sauces from your home. Trust me, once you try them, there's no going back. Go on, you irons.